outer space with burning skies. Bounty hunting, stars align. Across the galaxy, it's time to shine.
Well, hello.
Great to see you.
We have a special guest today.
How's it going?
This is Mandalore the Uniter, otherwise known as Tom.
Yeah, and if you don't recognize that voice, he is the creator, the leader of that infamous costuming club known as the Mando Mercs.
Throw Notorious in there. That's good. The Notorious Costume Club. I like that one. Yeah.
The Notorious MMCC.
Yeah, the Notorious MMCC. Right. That sounds pretty good.
Right. So, of course, if case you don't know, Ken and I are both members of the Mando Mercs. We have both been Ken since 2019, right?
2020, actually.
20. Oh, that's right. You did it over the COVID break. And I'm about, where am I at? I'm going to be 3 years this year, I think. 3 years? Yeah, 3 years.
Wow.
I got to get my stuff right.
The time goes by quickly.
Yeah, it sure does.
And for those of you that are just hopping onto this, who've never heard us before, this is Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy with Todd and Ken.
Correct. I guess we got to do this all the right way, right?
Well, you might as well tell them. You might as well give them a little bit of an idea of who this pair of knuckleheads is. Interviewing Mr. Tom. So
I guess I'll be knucklehead number 3. How's that?
There we go.
Well, welcome to the club.
All right. I'll join your club for a change.
So is it safe to say, Tom, that you're a little bit of a Star Wars fan?
I mean, a little bit. That's probably an understatement, but we'll go with that. Yeah, just a touch. As we stay down here, just a touch.
And what are some of your earliest Star Wars memories?
My earliest Star Wars memory is watching Return of the Jedi when it came out in the theater, because that's where I saw Boba Fett, and that's where I fell in love with Boba Fett, and then I watched Boba Fett fall in the Sarlacc pit. So there was a whole lot of emotions in that in those few seconds, and it pretty much changed my life I guess I was a 5-year-old. Yeah, so I guess that's where everything started, when I was 5 years old. So before have you been figures? I just had figures I played with before that. So
okay. Do you still have any of the ones you had when you were a kid?
Only a Boba Fett figure. The dog ate the rest of them, unfortunately, when I was about 9 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Ugh. And what terrible things did a young Tom do to that dog?
Actually, it was my fault. I left him out in the kiddie pool, and the dog went out there and ate him, and it was one of those life lessons of, you don't leave your stuff out for the dog, because the dog might eat it. And the dog did.
That's fair. I learned that lesson a few times myself.
Yeah. The dog ate my homework and my Star Wars figures, so of course I couldn't get away with the homework one.
And Raven says hi, so we are live on YouTube.
Hello, everybody on YouTube.
So you mentioned that you had Star Wars figures as a kid. Do you still have any things in your collection now beyond the costumes that you make?
Well, so when I was in the Navy in the 90s, I went, when they released all the Power of the Force Star Wars stuff, I went and bought a whole bunch of that and had made like my room into the Death Star diorama. And, I had ships hanging from in my barracks, and I had ships hanging from the ceiling. Of course, they never did like that when it came to barracks inspections, but had the Millennium Falcon and X-Wings and TIE fighters hanging from my ceiling, and I had I turned my desk and like the Hoth scene and everything. So, and I still have all that stuff. I still kept all that. That's all boxed up over at my dad's place. But that was pretty much it as far as the collection side. Now, obviously, I've got a bunch of patches and coins and merch and stuff that people have given me over the years. I got a vast quantity of that. I also have a lot of art, all of the celebration artwork that's done for us. That various artists do when we have our Star Wars celebrations and all that. I have all of that original art.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I keep all of that because that's all one of a kind stuff. I mean, there's prints of all these things, but the original art, I keep that for Mercs. Try to decide what to do with it. I thought about, donating it to Rancho Obi-Wan. It's just a collection donation that, not for them to keep, but for them to hold to display for people and that kind of stuff. And so it may go that route at some point. I haven't decided yet. And we're still making art because we just had Celebration Japan. We've got Celebration LA coming up, so that's going to add to the stack. So, yeah.
So let me ask a question. I'm sure you've been asked plenty of times before.
Sure.
But after all this, that obviously you watched Boba Fett get introduced, you saw him fall into the Sarlacc pit. What made you think that I need to have a set of armor like that? And not only that, but like, how did you go from I want to make a set to I want to make ground rules so that everybody else can do the same thing?
Well,
sorry, big multifaceted question.
No, you're good. So it really kind of started for me back in 2006. Well, I'll take that back. It started for me further back than that. I guess 2004 when Star Wars Galaxies, the video game, the MMO came out. And I had created a guild, what they called them player associations. It basically is a guild called Mandalorian Mercenaries. And we would go down to the Death Watch bunker and we would make pieces of Mandalorian armor for each of our members. And we would, we were Mandalorians for all, as far as in the game. And so, from there, my wife had she'd been wanting to go to Dragon Con for the last couple of years before that, and it was a money thing. You got to have the money to go there. It's always been expensive, and so so we went. And while I was there, I saw some guys running around in their own Mandalorian armor, and they didn't really have a place to go. And talking to him at the time, I found out that, back in the mid 2000s, the 501st had gotten rid of all of the non-canon costumes. And believe it or not, it's kind of known as the Purge,
Okay.
There was a real great purge, and it was mostly of Mandalorians because most of those costumes were custom Mandalorians. And,
Right.
So, I was like, what? I could bring my Mandalorian character from Star Wars Galaxies out to the real world. And in the process of that, it's like, what? We should have a group of our own. Like everybody else has a group. Why don't we have a group? Like we should be represented in Star Wars too. We deserve it. And so that was kind of my, that's kind of where it started. And I found a place online called Heroes, Villains, and Mandalorians. And obviously there was the dented helmet as well, but they were mostly geared towards canon. There was a website called Heroes, Villains, and Mandalorians, and they did custom Mandos and a few other things, but primarily custom Mandos. Met some people there, and we decided, hey, let's build our kits, or let's get our kits done, and we'll meet at AdventureCon in Knoxville. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And I had already been working on the Mercs website and everything up until then. And after talking with them, I'm like, let's just do it. And they were all in agreement. So we launched it, and, it was really an instant hit, and people just started coming, and, that was kind of how it started. It just snowballed from there. It went from, like 4 or 5 of us into, the thousands we are today. So
around the world. Let's
around the world.
Of it.
Absolutely.
So I got to ask a personal question because I played a lot of Star Wars Galaxies too. What class did you play? Do you remember?
Sorry? Which what?
Which class did you play in Star Wars Galaxies?
Oh, it's Bounty Hunter, of course. Well,
Okay.
so back in the day, we had, it wasn't really class based as much as it was skill based when it first came out. The class thing really didn't start until the third, I think, was the NGE. I had primarily I played Bounty Hunter, Pistolier, and Terrace Kasai.
Okay, so I played a Rifleman Bounty Hunter. and I worked a few points of armor smithing in there.
Oh yeah,
or weapon smithing rather, so that I could build my own guns. So I played for quite many years. So
yeah, that game was so awesome. I mean, there's never been anything like that made since. I mean, we really lost a gem, and there never will be, unfortunately. I don't think we really lost a gem in that game. Yeah, but
yeah, no, I agree with that. That was such a fun game, and it was a shame when they switched it over to the NGE. And
yeah,
I know there is plenty of emulators out there, but I don't have the wherewithal to go back and play it.
I really don't either. I mean, it was something that it brought a lot of fun to my life. I mean, I found my wife over it. I mean, I can't go back and recapture that again. And then that was, you only get one of those.
Yep. No, I agree with that. That's very cool.
So considering what you were just saying, that at the time the 501st not took away, but they decided to stick with screen accurate characters.
Correct.
And a lot of the custom Mandos were off to their own. What are your thoughts now with Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren and these other characters now being part of the 501st?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, they're canon characters, and if the 501st won them, then they're, it's a big world. That's fine by me. I mean, we really weren't necessarily started to be a canon character club, but we do take them, and we're very strict on them. We're probably the most strict group in the world when it comes to that, and and that's. Some people find that as a point of contention. I find it as a point of pride because, every member gets judged equally. And it's, if the 501st or Rebel Legion or whatever, they got Mando costumes in there, and that's perfectly fine by me. I mean, those canon costumes are really, for us, is a very small minority.
So while we're talking about that, like, how do the Mando Mercs as a general rule, like, how do you compete? I don't want to say compete, but how do you draw people in? How do you think that most people are drawn to the Mando Mercs rather than the 501st or the Rebel Legion or something like that?
Well, I mean, something I've always said is that, with the Mercs, we allow you to create your own character. You get to have your own little piece of Star Wars that's specifically your own. I mean, if you want to build your own original Mandalorian character, we allow for that.
Yeah.
And that's something that, it's cool to be a Bo-Katan, or it's cool to be a Boba Fett or whatever, but you're one within a sea of those, I mean, which is, again, perfectly acceptable and fine. If that's the costume you want to replicate, that's great. But I think there's nothing more imposing than looking out across a crowd of Mandalorians versus a crowd of Boba Fetts.
That's very true. I mean, that's what drew me in is I wanted to make my own character, and that was the big draw. I didn't want to be just another stormtrooper or a rebel trooper or something like that. I wanted to be.
And there's another part. Absolutely, and there's another part to this too. There's the whole, instead of everybody being the same costume, where they're comparing, how one person's stuff looks or is more authentic than the other. When it comes to to Mandos, it's like, look at this, look at this cool thing so and so's done, or look at this cool thing someone else has done. It's not really a comparison of what my kit looks like to your kit, but cool, look what that person's done. I mean, it's more like you're looking at innovation on a Mando kit. From kit to kit, there's different people have innovated different things. There's only so much innovation you can do on a canon kit.
Yeah, I can see that.
And some of those things have worked their way into some of that stuff's even worked its way into Star Wars. So, anyway,
That's
sorry.
Fair. Go ahead, Ken.
What do you think it is about Star Wars then that makes it so fertile for creativity, so fertile for folks like us who've read the books, watched the stuff on movie screens, played with the toys, that then go and build something?
I think because a lot of the parts in Star Wars, since they use such practical effects, And I think since, a lot of us can kind of see what went into making those props and such, it makes it easier for us to connect to those items. It makes it easier to connect to the fact that EE3s is the surplus World War II gun, or that a Boba Fett gauntlet is a dental expander. I mean, things like that. I mean, that's what is kind of the connective tissue when it comes to costumers and Star Wars, is that all the little doodads, everything is made out of something else for the most part, and that's for people who enjoy making things. That's very connective for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that. Because that's the part that I like about it, is you can really kind of dig into making your own thing and building your own character. I mean, I created my own weapon from scraps from work. So
yeah, I mean, my metal blasters are old, Webley Mark V flare guns that I literally re-welded into blasters. I mean, taking something that was one thing and turning it into something else. It's almost, I don't want to say sickness, but when you walk into Lowe's and I look at everything the way I want it to be, not everything the way it is. So it's kind of a creator sickness.
Yeah. And we
do
a lot of
bits and pieces.
Do what?
Do you have bins with bits and pieces?
Oh yeah, I've got so much stuff I got to throw away out in my shop. I got about five big old bins full of, under one table full of stuff, and I got a couple other bins under another table full of stuff. So yeah, I got so much junk I just need to throw it away because I'm probably never going to use it. I mean, I got an old Buzz Lightyear jetpack that was from a Halloween costume, and I don't know, from or maybe the mid to whenever Toy Story first came out. It's probably worth something, but one of our guys out in Hawaii had made his wife a jetpack out of it, and I saw one on eBay, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna grab that," because it was only like $20. Yeah. But it's been sitting in a bin out there, for the last 20 years. So yeah, there's a lot of 20-year-old stuff sitting out there.
I'm sure. I got stuff in my back room too that I should probably get rid of.
Oh yeah,
bring it to an armor party. Do a barter system. I got a jetpack. What do you want to trade?
There you go. Absolutely.
Right. That would work good for me. So, I mean, as
foundling armory there.
Yeah. So I got a question. What would you suggest what suggestions do you have for people that are interested in getting involved with the Mando Merc, as far as what's the first steps? What's the process? What would be the first steps of the process?
Sure. Well, the first place I always tell people to go is go to the forums. Go to MandalorianMercs.org. Go to the forums. Yeah. Sign up there. Find your clan. We're almost. I mean, if pretty much anywhere you are in the world, we probably have unless you're in the continent of Africa. We don't have any clans on the continent of Africa, but every other continent we have a clan or multiples. And so find your clan, get in touch with them, go post on their board. Find out when the first armor party is, and go meet them. I mean, the hardest part to building any costume or getting involved in anything is taking the first step. Once you take that first step, that's the confidence builder. So, get on the forum, and if you're not ready for an armor party, just start talking to the members on the board. Start talking to the Rusalor. Start talking to, the official members there. Get comfortable. And go to your first armor party, or if going to the armor party makes you comfortable, go right to the armor party. But that's taking the first steps is what it's all about. You got to take those first steps.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, going to events that are nearby, whether it's a comic book convention, or in some cases they even do movie nights at theaters
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
absolutely.
So go chat with other folks who have built costumes and find out how they got involved. That way you've got this guide, for lack of better words, that can bring you further through the steps.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. That's a good way. Also,
I
don't be
mean,
afraid to when you get new in the group and you're comfortable. Don't be afraid to be a handler in an event too. I always say that's the best way to learn club culture is to be a handler, because you get steeped in how the costumes work. You can see how they work on people, putting them on, taking them off. You can see how members act with crowds, with the public, how the event works with the members and things of that nature. You really get steeped into a lot of knowledge as a handler.
Right. Ken, you went to a couple as a handler, right?
Yeah,
Before
actually, I spent several years as a handler, actually, and part of it was because I struggled with the construction part of it. I could come up with the ideas. I had lots of notes and doodles and all that kind of stuff, but I really struggled getting the materials and putting them together. And the other piece that I enjoyed about being a handler is there's a certain excitement that you see on people's faces when they're standing next to a Mando Merc or standing in the midst of several of them. And it was really fun for me to be able to take pictures of them, with the other Mandos. And I think being a handler can be fun in and of itself. But once you take that leap into the costume part of it, oh my goodness, the world changes, and it's bonkers. And I'm going to guess, Tom, you've been to many events. Are there any that stick out to you as like pinch me moments? Like, I can't believe I'm here doing this thing.
Oh yeah, there's at least a couple. So I've been all over the world. I was just in Italy this past Thanksgiving with Games Week over there with Oriciteri clan, and Jaguar clan was there. We had who else came down? Twin Sons from Belgium, they came down. We had some from Origalar in France that came down. So that's always a fun when you get to meet members from different countries around the world. Because normally here I'm meeting members from different states, which is perfectly fine, but I don't always get to go over there and meet with members. But probably the two that stick out the most in my mind is when actually three. So I would say Star Wars Celebration Orlando, I think it was 2017. Yeah, 2017. We had a huge amount of Mando Mercs members there, well over 100. I mean, we were just like filled up the floor. It was crazy. And seeing that picture was just phenomenal of all the Mercs members there. Also, 2017, I got to go out to Lucasfilm. They brought all the group heads out for a couple days worth of meetings. While I was there, I got to go to Rancho Obi-Wan and visit Steve Sansweet, who I'd known for several years. Great guy. The museum out there is awesome. If you ever get a chance to go out there, I'm doing shameless plugs, but only because it's such a great museum. Also, I got to go to Skywalker Ranch, and they took us down into the basement of the farmhouse, which, I mean, Pete Vilmer.
You're lying.
No, Pete Vilmer was with us, and he's like, I've been at Lucasfilm for almost 20 years now, and I've never got to come down here.
Wow.
And in the farmhouse, they have a lot of movie artifacts from all the different George Lucas movies. They've got the Holy Grails in there, from The Last Crusade. That's in there. The Shankara stones are in there. You got some stuff from Willow in there. I mean, you got some American Graffiti stuff in there. You got Star Wars stuff in there. But in the very bottom, which is where George Lucas's office is, so upstairs is where he writes all this stuff, but downstairs, and he still owns Skywalker Ranch. He just leases it out to Lucasfilm. But down there is where, so I'm sure you've seen the videos when they're in theater there at Lucasfilm previewing the prequels, like that, where the red seats and everything. Well, that theater is down there. I got to see that. His personal editing room is down there. Now, he wasn't there, but he did leave a note for us, and his editor was there, and we got to speak with her. We were watching, stuff that she was working on at the time, and we got to see all the original movie poster art, all the original movie poster for every George Lucas movie. All that original art is down in that basement.
Like
And
those extrusions and stuff.
yes,
That's cool.
all the stuff, man. Even Quarry art's down there. I mean, stuff that's like, yeah, like
Wow.
that's like
You
it's
got
like yes,
goosebumps.
it's like going down. It's like the Louvre of Lucas film nerds.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
insane.
it was awesome. It was very moving. I mean, it was like myself and Rich Whitaker, who was our PR officer at the time. He got to go. They brought him all the way out from the UK, and it was very humbling, to just not just to see that, but just to know that, just to be there in that area. And we got to see it was right before the Last Jedi came out, so we got to meet Ryan Johnson. He was there because they were working on the I guess the editing stuff, post production stuff. So he and the producer of the movie were there. They came in and talked to Ryan. God, he's a short guy. He's shorter than me, and I'm like 5'9". He's shorter than I am. Super, super nice guy, though. I know people hate a lot on The Last Jedi, but there was a lot of Star Wars love put into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to see that. What else? Oh, the library. They have like the George Lucas library is in there, or whatever. I can't remember what they call it, but it's like this huge library, and it's only filled with film books or books on films and movies. And it's a huge library, and it's got like this winding staircase in it. It's all made out of wood. It's just, I kept a pamphlet from it somewhere I've got, but all just so surreal. And it's a real working farm. Like they grow 100+ head of beef. There's Skywalker Vineyards is there. They grow a bunch of vegetables. It's all,
Yeah, it's several acres large.
Wow.
Several acres there. And then you've got the sound places next door. Skywalker Sound's next door. But yeah, that was really good. And then of course in 2019 when we got to go to the red carpet premiere of The Mandalorian, and in full transparency, I had watched the first couple episodes with Alicia because that's what they aired first. Before I watched it with her the day when they came out, because the red carpet premiere wasn't until right after they'd already been released on Disney Plus. And it was like the first 2 episodes. We saw it on that, and then the next day I flew out to LA for the red carpet premiere. Well, episode 3 came out, and that's where you see all the Mandos come out of the covert to fight for Din, and when he's trying to get off world. And man, not only was it cool to be out there for that, just seeing that episode, dude, I friggin' broke down. I was like crying like a baby. People were coming up to me. They're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm like, guys, we did this. Like, all the years that we've, been out there and we've done events and we've just had fun and everything. Like, it's all culminated in this, And even Dave, in his interviews, Dave Filoni would, he'd talk about, the Mandos always take him out to dinner at Celebration and take care of him and his wife and all that. And it's like, that's us. That's what we've always done. So,
Right.
I mean, those are probably the 2 most poignant moments, I think, in my career doing this. I mean, there's been tons of other things, don't get me wrong, but those 2 things themselves, they run pretty deep.
Well, do you need a pair of bodyguards to go with you to the Mandalorian Grogu premiere? Because, I'm sure that Cypher and Kenix would be more than willing to go with you.
I'm sure that we will be there. I'm sure we'll get invited out. We usually do, especially for those. I mean, we did for the Mandalorian when it came out. I'm pretty sure we'll be, and more than likely they'll want us to wear our kits, so that will be cool. I'll be there for that. I mean, my health is not the greatest right now, but I will muster every ounce of energy I have to make it to that, because it matters. It matters to be there. So
Yeah. Well, like Ken said, if you need some people just to help you along, we'll gladly help out.
What I need is I need a throne that's built onto like a hover round base or something, so I can just drive around on a Mando throne.
That'd be fun.
Right. That would
I'm
be
saying that on
great.
the podcast in the hopes that somebody out there that can do that here's that, so that they. I did build a
I had enough
speed
trouble
4 years
working
ago,
with
but I
Twitch.
can't get into that sucker now.
Yeah, we get that.
So with that said, like how does it feel for you knowing that Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be on the big screen, not just a television thing, but on movie theaters around the world.
Well, it takes me back to when I was out there in 2017. One of the things that they had asked us to ask the members and see what did the like what questions did the members have, and one of those questions was, when are we going to get our own movie or whatever?
Yeah.
It was movie. So I sent that up, and I'm like, hey guys, here's the question. Members want to know when we're going to get a Mandalorian movie, and of course the answer was, we'll forward that up the chain. Well, here we are. 2026, we're getting our movie.
Yep.
I hope everybody's happy. The question went up the chain. I did what I was told to do by the members. I forwarded it up, and here we are. So, yeah, be happy.
Thrilled. I couldn't ask for anything more, to be honest with you.
I would never have thought. I have always told people that I didn't think we would ever get a movie because Mandalorians just make better background characters than foreground characters. People hire them to be mercenaries. They don't hire them to be, the emperor of the countries or whatever, or the planets or whatever. So, but we're getting one. So we're just gonna have to see how it is. I mean, I always walk into a Star Wars movie with the expectations of a child, because that's when I watched Star Wars when I was a child. So I keep those expectations. I don't go all adult on it. I don't sit there and try to analyze, the canon versus whatever, because who really wants to live in a world where you feel like all of your stuff's been sucked away? Like, just go in there as a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old or whatever, and be your 12-year-old.
Oh, I agree.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't get, when you walk out of the theater, you're back to being your 48-year-old self that has to pay taxes and buy food and put a roof over some people's heads. So,
amen to that. So, a quick question. So obviously, like, you started with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett was a mercenary, and even in the initial Legends books, like, they only kind of addressed Mandalorians as these mercenaries and worked out. How do you feel about how they've created all the lore around the Mandalorian culture now?
I mean, I feel pretty good about it. Back in the day when Karen Travis was writing stuff, there was a small circle of us that would Karen would talk with, and we would give her ideas, and she would read stuff to us, and we would listen and, give opinions and things of that nature. And that's pretty cool to think about, that having that kind of impact on Mandalorian culture, and as far as, like, people put a lot of thought behind creating it. And then, of course, we had the book by Daniel Wallace, Jason Fry, and Ryder Wyndham, which was the Bounty Hunter Code, which I helped actually quite a bit on that one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I say quite a bit. I should elaborate on that. I got to name the armor. So in that one, on the one page where you have the whole set of armor, everything that Karen didn't get to name, in her books, I named for Jason Fry at his request. And then, of course, they put the story in there about Mandalore the Uniter, which I didn't know he was doing, and he did. And it was like, wow, this guy's has he been spying on me or something? But anyway,
right.
We had those books, and those are great books. But to watch how they brought a lot of that stuff back from Legends and put it in the Mandalorian, that was, they really brought a lot of stuff back. A lot of stuff that I thought they were going to get rid of, they brought back. Yeah. And I was very happy to see that. Now, we can all debate about pacifist new Mandalorians and all that stuff, but, every culture, as we all know, every society has their ups and downs, even warrior societies. Yeah. And warrior societies tend to have a lot more downs than ups. So
correct.
Yeah. So it's not hard to believe that that a society would make such a sharp turn. So yeah, I think Mandalorian culture has grown. I think it's really grown as a culture, not just in how much knowledge we have of it, but in as a culture itself. I think it has grown beyond just being mercenaries and thugs into actually being a civilization.
Yeah. No, and I agree. We when we first started this podcast, one of the first things that we did is we went back and did Mandalorian lore from the onset, the inception of it, including the original race and how they went from they're escaping my memory at the moment for the name,
Tong?
but for how they, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the
From
Tong.
the
Yep,
Tong to actually recruiting other species into and how they change the armor up and stuff like that. So I know this is kind of just a plug for our podcast, but we're gonna work. I think one of these days I'm gonna put that to a video so we can put that up on the YouTube too.
You should. I used to write for StarWars.com back in the late 2010s, and one of the articles that I did was on like the history of the armor and how it evolved with the civilization and over the millennium and all that stuff. And it was it was fun to do all that research and to go and find the things that we had at the time, which we didn't have much back then. We had just what Karen wrote. I think we had Star Wars Insider 81 and 80 and 81, and
Right.
And comics, here or there. But for the most part, that's
Right.
all we really had. So piecing together lore from all that stuff, some actual cohesive stuff, it's difficult, but it's fun if you enjoy it.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty
I have a lot
exciting.
of done research. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you gotta be pretty excited knowing that you've got your own page on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was there. That little stub article, I didn't even know that was there. Someone was like, "Oh, hey, you got to," and I'm like, "What?" Yeah, it doesn't say much, but just to have it, I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, complete
Didn't
with
think I had that.
with a photo of your armor.
Yeah, it's an old photo though. I need to ping somebody to update that. That's like Mark 4 or 5 of my old kit. Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you get the chance to wear your armor?
Well, I haven't worn
Nowadays.
it since November. When I was out in Italy, and I probably won't get to wear it until I go out to the red carpets. Right now, I don't really have a lot of because I'm dealing with, like I said, a lot of leg and hip, and I've got a blood clot that's developed behind my left knee, which the knee was already slated to be replaced, but I can't. Now it's like everything has to hinge on that. So one more thing, but so I don't get to wear it as much as I would like to. Or used to. I mean, I used to go, God, man, I used to be able to stay in kit for hours and hours. I think the longest I was ever in kit was at Star Wars, or is it San Diego Comic-Con 2008?
Okay. And how long did you wear it then? All day?
Sorry, did I lose you guys? Can
I
you hear
said
me?
how long?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the longest I've ever been in my kit was at San Diego Comic-Con in 2008. It was the first year that Mercs had a table there. I was in my kit for 16 hours.
Dang, that's
Wow.
awesome.
To the point where I was at the time my cod plate was easily removable, so I could go to the bathroom at least. So, that was, somebody actually took a picture of me and the founder of Shonerva Kala clan. We were in the bathroom, we were in our kits, and we were acting like we were combing our hair, with our helmets on. And somebody took a picture of us doing that in the mirror. It was great. It was awesome.
So
That's
which clan which clan was that represented with you?
Oh, well, there were several back then. Let's see. So back then, Southern California was all one. SoCal was all one. I think it was Trank Petrade, I think, clan back then. And then Arizona was Shonerva Kala, but that's what they are, Shonerva Kala, Dune Sea clan.
Okay.
And let's see, who else was it? It was me, which Talon clan. That was I think maybe I had been named Mandalore at that point. I can't remember. It wasn't until 2008 that the members actually voted for me to be Mandalore. So, and I want to say, I think we had some guys come down from. We had a small clan up in Northern California. I think it was like Redwood Squad or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was pretty much it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. We had some guys come down from. Where else did we have some people come in from? Mostly it was mostly Arizona and California, and then me. I was the out of towner.
Okay.
So
And why do the Mando clans have to be so hard to pronounce?
I mean, ask Karen why she had to make the word so difficult. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean,
with
but
the Mandalorian clan.
I mean, I guess it's no different than Klingons. They've got their kapla and everything else. So I mean, it's we got to have our words too, our Sakuigars.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's sure. Yeah, because we're both members of Mavoila, which of course is a mouthful in itself.
Oh yeah.
We're in Eastern PA, or well, I'm in Eastern PA. Ken's actually in New Jersey, but
I'm
he
on the
comes
other
to
side of
visit
the
us. So
I've never
we're
done
actually having.
guys, but I've been through there, but I've never done any events with you guys specifically.
Okay.
No,
because we're doing the Northeast region event. They're going to be coming into Philadelphia for Fan Expo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm going to be up there for the big multi-region armor party that they're having over in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be up there for that. I promised them I'd be up there. I tried to go last year, but it coincided with a local convention. That's the only real convention I make it to this year. I always support that show because it's local and it's just great people. They get Tim Zahn comes out and Michael Stackpole and some of those guys come out to it. But it's what I like to call a relaxicon, because I get to just relax and enjoy people But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go to the multi-region armor party, and I'll be there for that.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, if you get time, you can always stop by Fan Expo. It's the last weekend of May, so
I will try. There's a lot going on in May this year for me.
Oh yeah, there is. I know there is. Well, it's only the week after Mando and Grogu come out.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's gonna be tough. That'll be tough. I've got another potential long distance trip in July, and then I've got to go to Vegas in August, but that's for work. Which that's always a nice trip to go to Vegas for work. So for real work, not for Mandalore work, for the for the work that puts the food on the table. Yeah, money work.
Yeah, my work doesn't make us travel at all, so
I don't.
I go to the same place every day.
Yeah, I don't normally, but my job has changed, which is yeah, I got to go out there for a information security conference, so I won't say no to that.
Jeez.
So if you could give fans two pieces of advice in terms of getting involved in costuming and or staying positive as fans, what would you say?
So to the first part of that, as far as getting involved, I would say first, you got to have patience. You got to go into costuming with patience. I don't care how much money you have. Time is always a resource that is never on your side. You could be the richest person in the world, and unless you have Jarvis, making your Iron Man suits for you, you're gonna be buying stuff from people that probably require time to make it. So patience needs to be first and foremost. On the second part of that, as far as staying positive about things, the best way to stay positive about things is through helping others. Okay. Because I think, as we all know, there's not a lot of positivity going on in the world, at least for the last 4 or 5 years, or at least 4 years. Not a lot of positive things going on. But you, as a person, can make things positive by helping other people. And so the more you help others, the more you see how that changes their outlook on things, and it makes their life more positive, and that feeds your positivity as well. And I think that's something that people have to remember, is that costuming is not all about them, but it's about what we do for others, and that's an important lesson that I think that's gotten, I don't want to say it's gotten lost over time, but it's a message that's not as loud as it was when we got into these things. Because when I got into costuming, most of the stuff we have now didn't exist. Everything had to be done by hand, or it was super expensive to buy. Nowadays, you can 3D print everything, and for almost nothing. That just wasn't around when I was around. So, it was a different different mindsets back then, and I think some of those mindsets, we probably need a little bit of that to come back. And remember that it's not all about us, but it's about them too.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree with that. Very nice.
Yeah, the world is wacky.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah,
you'll never
a little
feel as personally fulfilled as you will when you see how what you've done to help someone else has made their life successful.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. I try to stay positive and keep everybody in my circle as much as I can. Keep the positive flow.
Yeah, and it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. I take my hat off to you for doing that. It is a hard time to do that, but we have to find it within ourselves to try to stay positive about things, at least in our spheres, to try to stay positive about things. You don't have to agree with everything, with what people think in your sphere. You don't have to agree with everything they think. It's not about that. If we all were that, if we all thought the same, we'd probably be on we'd be on a different planet by now, but we don't. That's why we aren't. So
Right.
we have to remember that we're all humans and we're all people and we all think different and feel different and eat and sleep different. So when you think about that, I think that puts things in a little better perspective.
Yep.
For sure.
For sure. So I got one more. This is kind of a personal question,
Sure.
or a question for me personally, but I'm looking at going into brigades for my kit.
Okay.
What is the, other than, hey, I'm in a brigade, what is the benefits, or I guess benefits would be the right word. What are the benefits of moving into a brigade rather than just staying with a normal?
Well, in a brigade, obviously, yeah, you get to say I'm in a brigade. There's sometimes we've got some library that comes out that brigade specific that's only available to brigade members. But that's actually a really good question, and that I can't specifically answer because I don't think there are any beyond the bragging rights, so to speak. And that's something that we have a new personnel officer. That's something that he may want to tackle and say, hey, you know what, I want brigades to have to be something bigger than just the next step of costuming in the club. I wanted to do other greater things, but that's on him. Which Bryn Simprudi, who was the Persexo before, he's now the Perso. So if he wants to make that move, I'm all behind it. I mean, I'm always a fan of taking things in the club to the next level if it's helping and the members, and creating a positive space for them.
Right. I'm just curious because my kit is, I obviously have my own custom kit. I know that I want to, considering moving into the mechanics brigade, but I know that's going to take changes to my kit and
Sure.
my base kit, and I don't know if I want to make a new kit to be in a brigade or if I should just make the alterations and then just reapply with that. So I was kind of curious. Nobody could give me a more straight answer than, hey, I'm in a brigade. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty much the answer. I mean, the brigades were never meant to be more than the next step of your costume. Like a next sort of, I want to take things a little bit higher than this. Than just being an official member. I want to just passing a OM approval. I want to go another step, and I want to do something that's along a more curated line of things that need to be done. Like, not that the CRLs aren't curated as they are, but you got CRLs, then you got the BRLs, which are more curated towards specific professions, and that's really what the brigade, when I came up with that idea back in, was it 2012, I think it was 2012 or 2000. It was 2012, and that was my idea. It was just profession-based stuff because Mandalorians, they did different things, but sometimes you had Mandos that were just really good at one or two things, and that's what they specialized in, and their kits reflected that.
Right, that makes sense. I mean, I'm a technician by trade, so I was like, I could just go into the mechanic. I can already play the role, so
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty easy to
You're halfway
fit
there.
lifestyle, you know.
You're like a
Yeah.
Bon Jovi song. You're halfway there, right? So go the
Right.
other way.
And I'm living on a prayer, that's for sure.
We are all living on a prayer right now, my friend. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I know. So
Uh,
just kind of curious. I would,
sure.
like I said, I have the ear of the you know, the club at my listening to me. At least I got to throw that out there, you know.
Well,
And I'm sure there's other people that want to know the question as well. So
oh, absolutely. And honestly, I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's just the nature of the beast on that one.
yeah, that's fine. To be honest with you, I spend probably more time than I should because I'm more of a planner than I am a doer. So I do a lot of planning and trying to figure out, is there something that I can just slate my kit into and then just to move up, or you know, with minor alterations or something like that.
But I think you had it right with altercations. We have altercations with the kids quite a bit, so I get you there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be the next step for me. And we have a little side project between me and Ken, but I think after that we're gonna.
Well, you might as well tell them now. You let the cat out of the bag.
So we're trying to do a for the podcast for one of the things that we wanted to do was actually create a kit on a budget, not necessarily a Mandalorian kit, but some kind of Star Wars costume. And we're going to do it and we're going to display it for right around Halloween time so that maybe we can inspire some people to make a budget costume for little money, $100, right around $100.
Wow, yeah. What are you doing? Are we making an Imperial technician?
Something like that, maybe.
This is where it gets to be a little more interesting. So what we did in addition to giving ourselves a set budget, we rolled some dice to figure out which area of Star Wars we were going to choose for our costumes.
Okay.
Todd was lucky enough to roll the dice to get Andor, so he gets to pick something from Andor to
the prison jumpsuit. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then,
that's the easy go-to. I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Yeah, you're good.
And I was lucky enough to roll the dice to get the animated Ewoks cartoon and Droids cartoon.
Oh my God. So you got the short end of the stick on that one. Woo.
I think he did too.
For a moment there, I thought you were going to say the live action Ewok, Battle for Endor movie, and I was like, oh man, now that would be cool. That's just a bunch of 80s clothes.
Yeah.
Weathered.
That would probably be easier.
That'd be way easier, absolutely. That's great.
Well, thanks for spending this much time with us, Tom. We really, really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, man. You guys are great. It's been fun. It's nice to reminisce about things because as I've gotten older, I just turned 48, and I've been doing this for about 20 years now. And starting next year, my role in the club will diminish a little bit, and because I'm turning the leadership of the club over to like the day-to-day leadership of the club over to an elected role to the prime minister. Because 20 years is a long time to be running anything, being the sole person in charge of anything. 20 years is a long time. And honestly, I'll put this I never, ever intended to do that for life. I wanted to get the club to a point where I felt that it was that it was at a point where it could go forward without me. And I feel like that probably happened, several years ago. But I feel like now it's in good hands with the membership. We have great members. We have great officers. I mean, you can think of them how you will, but everybody that's up there at the top bleeds for the club. They put so much time in. I've watched so many clans, do so many great things, and members just giving them their time and everything. And the club does not need me to be out there beating the bushes anymore like it used to. I want to spend some time with our foundation that we're using to help members with. I want to be able to go out and meet members if my body will let me. I want to spend more time, with the goodwill portion of the club. And, that's going to start for me next year, which is a big step. And I'm going King of England on everybody. So I'm gonna travel around and wave, but no, I'm just joking. But and so 20 years is a long time to be doing that, and it's great to come on to a show like you guys and talk about things and talk about the old stuff, because that's where my best memories are, where the club came from. I don't get to see things like you guys have seen it as an official member, because I was never approved into Mercs. I was just always here. And never went through. There was no approval process when I started the group.
That's fair.
That didn't come around until 2009, really. So I've never been approved in the club, and I've never seen things the way that you guys see them. The club has always just been, this thing that I've created. And though I watch all of you when you come through on applications, it's just it's time for the members to really have more reins in the club. It's that point,
Well, I don't want, not that I can speak for all the members of the group, but I do want to speak for the two of us. And we definitely want to say thank you for the efforts and energies that you've put in throughout this time, because Todd and I would not be friends if it weren't for the Mando Mercs. Todd and I would not be doing this podcast if it wasn't for Star Wars and the Mando Mercs. So that thing that you put a little bit of energy in all those years ago has gotten us here, and we can't say thank you enough for it. So I hope you're proud knowing that the club has gotten to where it is, and it's not done yet.
Oh no, there's no amount of pride. I couldn't feel any more proud of this group than I do. It's been, I don't know if you could say I'm a firm believer in destiny or not, but we're all put here on earth to do something, have a kid, work at a job or whatever. But this was my thing. I've always didn't think this at the beginning, but all as the years have progressed, and I've watched members, and I've seen members like get married to the club. I've seen members have kids, and members' kids grow up and become members of their own. It's like, and all the people that we've helped, and we've raised millions of dollars.
Wow.
These things wouldn't have happened if I had.
I think we see it from a very small angle, because we just see it from the clan angle, and I mean, neither one of us is in the officer part of that, so I don't think that we get the full extent of what the Mercs have done in total. So I mean, you deserve a big pat on the back for that.
I mean, the members, I would tell people I'm one man, and I had one idea, but it took an army of members to get us to where we are, and without that army, one man's idea wouldn't have went anywhere. So really, I will always say that it's the members. The members are the ones that deserve the most praise, because without you guys, I would still be, just me and a couple other people in a costume. So yeah, thank you guys for being members, and all other members out there, because it's really because of you guys that the club has continued to exist and grow and be this global icon.
Yeah. And Ken said it right. We met at an armor party for the first time. We decided to do this this idea at an armor party. So the armor party is a strong place for connections for the clans and stuff like that. And I don't get to as many as I'd like to, but my thoughts are always with them when they have one. Some of ours are halfway across Pennsylvania, and some of them are 20 minutes from me. So I get to the ones that are a little closer when I can, when my schedule allows. But Ken, of course, is a lot farther away. So,
well, but I appreciate you guys and your stories. Trust me, I have heard similar stories to you guys all over the world. I mean, and it's just phenomenal to hear how people meet and the connections that they create, all because of this thing that was literally came about from a 5-year-old's love for a Star Wars character. So I mean, it's
playing with toys.
Yeah, from me as a kid screaming my head off because Boba Fett fell in his Sarlacc pit in 1983 or whatever, Ford, and it's like, you know, it's just amazing. I mean, really, it's amazing, you know. And now we're doing this, you know, we're helping people through the foundation. We've been helping members. We've had, you know, we've changed members' lives through that. I hope that we continue to do that. I put that together for all of you guys, and it's, you know,
Yeah.
What we're doing is amazing for not just ourselves, but for others. Really, for others first, and then we got to take care of our own. You know, so.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I love hearing stories like that, you know, and I really congratulate you guys for being able to create that connection and it being an enduring connection.
Yeah. And thanks to you, that's for sure. Again.
I appreciate
it. Anything else you want to add there, Ken?
I think that's a fantastic way to wrap up. Actually, the one thing I would ask Tom, if you know, if fans wanted to follow you or keep in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Best way is just to hit me up on my Facebook page. Was it Mandalore the Uniter on Facebook? That's an easy one to find.
Yep.
I haven't been posting much costume stuff because I really just haven't been able to work on anything. I do post my proverbs every day, though. That's since 2014 going strong. I might not be able to work on armor, but I can still friggin' write. So I will keep putting those out. Or, you know, you can always ask me questions, shoot me a message, whatever. And I will get back to you as fast as I humanly can. So,
yes, and awesome. I can say 100% that's 100% true because you've helped me a couple of times on some prop stuff. I'm still working on that battle axe.
Oh, nice.
Everybody, how about you, Todd? How do you want to wrap everything up?
Well, I guess just some call outs real quick, if you don't mind. I also have a Warhammer 40K podcast YouTube channel, Table Ready, where we talk about Warhammer 40K and stuff like that. I also play Dungeons and Dragons with my boys on YouTube, and that's on Lake Clan Legends. And we record most Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons, something like that. So we stream that. And where can they find you, Ken?
Well, here with you every once and again. Every Wednesday night, I'm on the Inflatable Falcon with Mike Hinton. And I also have my own little Star Wars podcast YouTube channel called The Rambling Star Wars Fan. And if things go smoothly, there'll be a new episode of The Rambling Star Wars Fan out this week.
Awesome. Love to hear that. And we always end our episodes with the Mandalorian salute, I guess. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep. Take care.
Todd and Ken, the legends rise through hyperspace with burning skies. Bounty hunting, stars align. Across the galaxy, it's time to shine.